This is a video response to RMEC Uni 2000. Hey, thank you for taking all the time to show me your detailed description of how you think the Newman motor works. A few things I'd like to share with you. One is that, did you know there came a point where Mr. Newman was telling people they didn't have to build a special commutator? I have one video that he produced where he claims that all you need to do is make a big coil and run a more conventional commutator that switches the polarity into the coil every 180 degrees of rotation. And he says that that should have been enough to make the free energy. His theory was that as you make a bigger coil, you're getting a bigger magnetic field and you're going to get more torque out of it and more power. Well, I built a real big coil, and what happened with me was I didn't really get more power out because the magnets kept turning slower and slower. It was some sort of built-in governing effect. The other thing I wanted to ask you is, do you really think that you've produced over unity? I know you said that your battery was almost dead when you hooked it up and it ran for 6 months, but is that really proof to you that you had over unity? The reason I say that is I mentioned to you earlier that even a clock can run for a year on a single AA battery. Now your motor, it may be efficient, but is it possible that it uses so little energy that it could run for 6 months without it necessarily being over unity? To me, the true test is to run your motor, have it power at least a light load. Have it maybe turn a fan or something. And measure the battery voltage and current. Not just the voltage, but the current. But actually, I used to sell batteries and I used to sell solar panels. And one of the things I remember about batteries, we had a way of measuring battery charge level by measuring voltage alone. And from what I recall, if a battery was down to like 12.1 volts, that pretty much meant it was dead. And if it was 12.6, that meant it was pretty well charged up. So for anybody to run a motor and to say, for example, it started at 12 volts and it still has 12 volts in it, that doesn't really mean anything, because if it's 12.1 volts and it started out at 12.6, it's pretty much drained the battery. So just some more food for thought. As far as some of the numbers I gave you for the voltage that I ran my motor at and the current it drew, I haven't played around with these motors in years. It's probably been about 3 years since I put some of Newman's ideas aside. Part of the reason was I became very discouraged when I saw the sort of public demonstrations he was doing and the sort of interactions he was having with people. I'm trying to think of what else I can tell you. This is neat that we can communicate like this. I know there are other people listening too, so I hope it's entertaining for other people as well. But anyway, yeah, I'm just sort of questioning your results. I'm wondering if what you produced is actually really over unity, or if you're not mistaken in the way you're measuring everything. If it is over unity, congratulations. But my next question would be, if it is over unity, is it over unity enough to make it worthwhile to make this motor? In other words, can you do anything with it? I mean, I can get power out of a solar panel. I can go down and buy a cheap solar panel for 20 bucks over at Harbor Freight. I can get 100 milliamps out of that. It's only 20 bucks. Can you produce enough energy out of your motor to make it worthwhile? Anyway, just some more food for thought. Thanks for listening.